No time, no tools, big expectations. How do you transform school culture without derailing the train? Answer: little wins that bring big changes. The flywheel effect. Harnessing the power of momentum to create a school culture that celebrates change and drives itself.
Hey guys, this is Jordan, and you are on the Flywheel Effect. Welcome back, and we're going to jump right into it. This week, we're talking about student reward events, and I want to start with a little story about an event I got to attend recently with one of our partner schools, Del Valle Elementary, and then I want to talk a little bit about why you should host events and what benefit does your school get from doing this, and then 3 ways that you can improve events in your own school. So stick around for that. I think it's going to be worth your while. So let's talk about Del Valle Elementary. Del Valle is right outside of Austin, Texas. And to give you some context, at Del Valle Elementary, everything is points-based. So they use live school points to gamify processes that their students need to excel at in order to be successful in school. So if you're using an appropriate voice level, points. Appropriate behavior in the hallways, like staying on the right, not walking, not running, doing what you're asked to do in the hallway, points. Excelling or pushing through adversity in the classroom, points. Resolving conflicts, all those things are worth points. And so in turn, when you do well in school, you earn points. So, but just like a video game, when you reach a certain threshold, you level up. That's kind of their theme that goes there at Del Valle. Everything's about leveling up. And when you level up at Del Valle, you reach a certain threshold that they've set, you qualify for the big after-school event. It means you get a ticket to it, you can attend, as can your family. And I got to visit them during the school day, and this event was after school that evening. But during the school day, you're walking in and out of classrooms, and I keep hearing kids talk about leveling up. I keep hearing them talk about the event. It was really cool, and teachers as well. I heard them talk about it all day too. Everyone was really excited about this event. And, I've been to a lot of school events. I worked in schools for a long time, as did my wife, and got kids at school. I've been to a lot of events. So I was a little curious, what's the big deal? Is this going to be that big a deal? So I leave, go get the late lunch, then I come back, and I can tell it's going to be a pretty big deal when I arrive, because I'm looking at the sidewalk, and there's probably over 1,000 people waiting to get in a couple hours after school at this pretty small elementary school in outside of Austin, Texas. And I'm walking up to the front, and I'm like, what is inside this building that over 1,000 people are lined up for? It's like, is Taylor Swift inside or something? What's going on? And really, it was a lot of really creative things that did not take a lot of time or money to set up for the school, but it was all things their kids were excited about. It was all things their kids could do, and it was all things their families could do with them. So here's a few of the things that were inside. I mean, you had your staples like concessions, snacks. Everybody likes that kind of food, but you also had some really cool ideas like a silent disco party going on. They had a glow party. They had a video game tournament set up, where the kids could play a Nintendo Wii and on the big screens in the gym, and they could have a Mario Kart tournament. Really cool, really fun stuff. They had face painting. They had all the kindergarten teachers face painting kids, and then they had multiple places set up where you could take a social media photo with your friends, with the Del Valle background where it said level up. And so you could post it on Instagram that you had leveled up. It was really neat. And they're also their house system school. So part of the celebration was celebrating their house challenge. So they kept it a really, really tight secret all day, really all week, from what they told me. Who was going to be their house champion for that quarter. And so part of this was announcing that champion. So they had teachers up there who led their houses, and they were announcing the champion. And here's what's really cool about this house system there, and why I thought this was uniquely cool. It wasn't just kids that were excited about houses. The parents came in, a lot of them wore the house colors too. They were excited to see if their students were going to win this house competition. It was really neat. And the teachers went above and beyond getting them excited about that. When they were announcing their houses, they're doing their chants, they're doing the handshakes on stage, all the cool things. But really what you should think about is all those things, as cool and awesome as they are, they're not out of reach for your school. So I want to jump into why you should host events similar to Del Valle, and I'll go through some ideas on how you can do that and make yours better if you're already doing them. So you don't have to be a house system to host events like this. Although it certainly helps, really, any kind of event, and particularly if you host it after school, it's a way that parents can attend with their students, and that helps to bridge that gap between home and school. So you should be trying to create a sense of community. Parents, teachers, students, all that's going to improve the learning environment. So additionally, you're going to allow parents to understand the expectations and goals of your school, which then they can reinforce for you and alongside you. That's all positives for your school and positive for your students and their families as well, because they're just going to be more involved. But the other thing, it allows them to interact with with your teachers in a situation that's not a parent-teacher conference. So there's a little bit more of a guard down, much better for building those one-on-one relationships between your staff and your families. All that's going to be super positive when you need those relationships. Now, let's talk about 3 ways you can level up your own student reward events. So the first one, time matters. Seems like a small consideration, but it's a big one. What time are you going to host your event? Your answer usually might be to host when it's the most convenient for the school and staff. And we ask an awful lot of our staff, so doing things after school, not a huge fan of all the time. But something like this is once a semester or once a quarter. As long as you're not combining this with a lot of other things that are after school, this is one of those things that is worth it because once again, if you can have parents and community members who are coming into your school and seeing all the great things you're doing, that's going to make your school day so much easier. It's going to make it so much more effective. So try to find a way that your parents, community members can come into your building. Now, at some places that may not be after school, maybe something you can actually schedule during the day. That'd be great. Most places, this is something that you're going to have to do in the evening. So plan it way ahead of time so your folks can make it happen. Now, the second thing here, number 2, this was a big one too. Feedback matters. Who's the event for? Who do you want to motivate with the activities you choose to include in the event? The worst thing you can do is have this big goal, kids meet that goal, and then you've held this event that took a lot of time to plan, and then nobody really likes anything you planned. So the next time you want to set another big goal, there's nothing into it because they weren't that impressed last time. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes time to plan your event, make sure you have a good pulse on what your students are interested in and what they're going to be incentivized by. Also, on your way out of these events, if there's any way you could poll parents on their experience, how did they feel, what did they think about it? That's going to make these kind of things the next semester, the next quarter, the next year so much easier to plan and so much more effective. And you're going to like a flywheel, it's going to build anticipation. These things are going to be huge, huge benefits to your school if your students are into it. And the only way you're going to know that is if you ask them. And bonus points if you ask your parents as well. Now, number 3, this one's important. Your staff culture matters. So this goes back to the processes we mentioned above, all the gamifying stuff we talked about at Del Valle. Before the big things can work, you got to get really good at the basics. So does your staff consistently implement the processes that lead to points, that lead to those benefits, those goals you're trying to reach? Do all your teachers do that? Do they do it consistently? Do they see the benefits of motivating students in their classroom? If the answer is yes to all that, something like this is going to be a big success, going to be a big hit in your community. If it's not, you need to start with the basics of PBIS. So your event is truly a reward for student achievement and not just another thing you're asking your staff to attend. So because if you're asking them to attend this, but they're not seeing the benefits during the school day already, it's going to be tough, and you're not going to have the same environment that you want, and it's going to be something that's going to be really tough. Hey guys, this is Jordan from Live School, and I want to take a quick break to share a story about one of our partner schools, Cato Hills High School in Norman, Arkansas. Cato Hills recently decided to make some dramatic long-term changes that would improve their school community. They began searching for solutions for things like tracking both positive and negative behavior, recognizing the students who are doing the right things, and refocusing their vision around what student behavior could and should look like at Cato Hills. That search for answers led them to Live School. With Live School, they've tracked 141,000 behavior events this school year, with 139,000 of those accounted for positive behavior reinforcement opportunities. Tracking behavior? Check. Recognizing students for doing the right thing? Check. If you'd like to learn how to improve student behavior and culture in your school, check us out at whyliveschool.com or follow us on TikTok at whyliveschool. Now, back to the pod. There are tons of ways to motivate your students using rewards aside from these kind of events, so you may want to start there. But think of it this way. if you can reward students, provide a source of positive reinforcement that encourages them to continue to strive for goals and meet expectations in your building, you're going to create accomplishment and you're going to create self-confidence in your kiddos. That's just going to lead to a more positive learning environment, really for everyone. So events like we're talking about at Del Valle, they can have a huge impact on your school culture, on your school community. They can have a big impact on the community at large as well. But make sure you got the basics. Make sure you get some feedback from staff. Make sure you have this thing at a time where folks can attend that you need to attend. Now, all that being said, there are other ways to reward kiddos, and you can check a lot of them out on our website. We actually have a database of rewards you can search called Rewards That Rock. So you can check that out at wildlifeschool.com and then check out Rewards That Rock underneath resources there. So check that out. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok, and I'll have all that in the show notes for you. And we'll see you next week. Have a great day.
The flywheel effect, harnessing the power of momentum to create a school culture that celebrates change and drives itself.